All right,
It's interesting.
all right.
Right, and then I
So,
see the disinfectant
Singapore GP
where it knocks
is
it out
behind us
in a minute,
couple of weeks
1
off
minute.
before
And is there a
end
way
up
we
in
can do
Coda,
something like that
Texas USGP.
by
And we're going to talk about some
injection
things that
inside
happened beforehand. You already know I did a
almost
video
a cleaning? Because
where
you
we
see it gets
spoke
on the
about
lungs and it
Ben coming out and basically with negative perspective and also racial tones talking about Formula One is not like rappers. We're not like rappers. We don't do this. And you already know I did the
was
video
interesting.
basically saying, like,
Right, and then I see the
that in
disinfectant
itself tells
where
you
it
a lot
knocks it
about
out
how Ben looks at
in a
people
minute,
that look like me.
1 minute.
Ben
And is
has
there a
also
way we
said
can do
things that would
something
tell
like
you
that
about his level of
by
respect or how he views the importance
injection
of women
inside
and maybe even
or
their
almost a
participation in
cleaning?
motorsports.
Because you see it gets on the lungs
So
and
just after this has taken place, Max Verstappen decides to go and pout protest and curse anyway in an FIA press conference. This is what Max Verstappen has chosen to do. He's chosen to cuss in a press conference, or he did. Yeah, he did. It's still your choice. So he still chose to do so. MIA first in the live chat. Good morning, good sir. He still chose to do it, but he then gets penalized for it, for dropping another F-bomb. And I showed you all a transcript. What's up, Fred Second in the live chat? Yo. I showed you all a transcript during, I believe that would have been, I think that was 2020. And Dark Horse third in the live chat, completing the podium for who all entered the live chat first, second, and third.
right, and then I see the
Dark Horse,
disinfectant
second being Fred, and
where it knocks it out
Wolfpack
in a
family
minute,
in first, and if you're
1
not first,
minute.
you last. So we're going to go into this whole situation, all right? It was 2020 about that situation that I was just talking about. So Max Verstappen decides to cuss in a press conference. He gets cited for it, penalized for it, and now he goes on a protesting pout about it. Well, evidently Ben's wrong because you don't have to be a rapper to cuss. These are your drivers in Formula One cussing. You only made that link because you want to throw negativity and shade on not only probably an ethnic group of people and black people, but also rap as a genre of music and how you feel about it. So Ben let a few things out about himself. But let's just talk about Max Verstappen. And then I'm going to give my opinion on the cursing in ways that I feel about it. And I'm not going to say that I don't agree with Max, but I do disagree with Max. And I'm also not going to do the Lewis Hamilton thing because a lot of times Lewis Hamilton, he should just say no comment. He should. So in the press conference, if you did not see it, Max Verstappen decides to basically go about this.
Seems there's been a big difference in performance lately.
A lot.
Can you elaborate in terms of what you've done?
No, I might get fined or get an extra day. So.
All right. Max decides he's not going to answer questions. He tells, what's up, J-Rob? What's incredible facts? He tells other reporters, you're going to have to talk to me about this outside the room. He then goes in to try to explain to somebody, oh, this is not towards you. He then goes into, I might get fined and I might get cited, so don't talk to me about the car. So basically, he goes on this whole power protest, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you also, these things, if you notice throughout a certain course of time, Max Verstappen has been getting more vulgar. Max Verstappen's driving tactics that we have seen have started to resurface.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant.
The surface that covered up those blemishes has been
1
removed.
minute.
And what
And
surface
is there a way
is that?
we can
Dave
do something
Quattro and
like
J-Rob,
that
what's going on? What surface is that?
Injection inside
That would be
or
not
almost
winning.
a cleaning because you see
That
it
is
gets
what
on the
it would
lungs
be,
and it
not winning. And Max Verstappen, if we include the Singapore GP, it would be second, 20%. His winning rate is now further down. His winning rate is now further down to 20%. Max Verstappen has not been on the top step of the podium in not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 races. It's 7 races removed since Max Verstappen has won a race.
It's interesting.
And what
Right,
I
and
am
then I
going
see
to
the
tell you, Toy
disinfectant
Tackler, what's up,
where it knocks it out
is
in
we
a minute.
said this.
1
I
minute.
said this.
And is there a
Many
way
of
we
you
can do
said
something
this.
like that?
Being a front runner
By
and Max
injection
Verstappen winning
inside
and
or-
being in the most
or
dominant car
almost a cleaning, because you see
is
it gets on
why
the
all of
lungs
a
and
sudden people want to say he's changed, but he hasn't really changed. He hasn't really changed. And this weekend is not going to make it any better because although Max Verstappen came in second, he was blown out by 20 plus seconds at certain times. There were times in the race Max Verstappen was down or gapped by
It's interesting.
23 plus seconds
Right,
by
and then I
Lando
see the
Norris. Although
disinfectant
we're going to talk about
where it knocks
Lando
it out
tonight.
in a
Come to
minute.
F1 Minute. The
1
link
minute.
is up already.
And is there a way
it is
we
the
can do
live show
something like
tonight where
that?
you can come on, you can
by
give your perspective, you can talk
injection
about your
inside
opinions.
or-
It will be tonight,
or
19:30,
almost a cleaning,
7:30
'cause
p.m.
you see it
Eastern
gets on the
Standard
lungs and
Time.
it-
As an audience, you get to call in and talk amongst myself and others. So if you want to join us there to give your perspective on that, please feel free to do so. Now, I'm going to say this. Let's look at the penalty. Let's look at the document. Let's check the document out about what Max Verstappen and what happened here. So as you see right here, Max Verstappen, Singapore GP, Thursday's press conference, which was going into it. You know, they do the weekend warm-up and all such things. Max Verstappen language during the FIA Thursday drivers press conference. All right, we're also going to look into the breach article 12.2.1.K or .K into international sporting code. Now, some of this is really funny. Some of this is really funny. And I'm telling you, some of this to me is funny because it never ceases to amaze me how certain documents are written or the things that the FIA do accept from Max Verstappen and not other drivers, especially one other driver. Here it is right here. And might I also add before we get into this, if you go back and watch the press conference, he was really being childish. And I'm going to play it again.
Seems there's been a big difference in performance, Silly.
A lot.
Intentionally
Can you elaborate
childish.
in terms of what you've
No,
done?
I might get fined or get an extra day. So
Throughout the whole press conference, if somebody asked him about the car, he was to the point it got childish. Now, I would have said, okay, Max threw one little thing in there. Cool. Did the whole press conference. And he did it in multiple different ways. And to a degree, this is not how a champion should handle himself. But this is how Max Verstappen handles himself. So a lot of people champion him. And you probably do the same type of things elsewhere. I could give you a degree, but let's check this out. It is the policy of the FIA to ensure that the language used in the public forums, such as press conferences, meets general accepted standards for all audiences and broadcasts. Now, what's also funny about this is many people that are excusing Max Verstappen's actions and his language probably have come here and gotten in my comment section on my live chat about why do you have to curse? Why? Because they want to come here. Some people legitimately want to know. Like, I really had a fan write me a comment and I responded. They wrote me a comment and they said, listen, Wolfpack, my child likes to watch your streams. You're very on point. You're very without, you're unapologetic and we like you. But sometimes the cussing, I just don't know if I can allow them to watch if you're going to curse that much. And you know what I did? I responded back to that person and I said, you know what? I appreciate you reaching out. Also understand this is my platform. I'm going to be myself. And at certain times during live streams, I could get a bit passionate and curse words may come out. But what I am going to do is because you've brought it to my attention that your child, and that makes me believe other children may be watching that are coming up in this sport, I'm going to do a better job at trying to refrain from certain curse words, if not curse words at all, if I can. And since that moment, I have done better because in the hindsight of everything, the truth is we don't necessarily need to curse. We don't. It's an emotional act. And it is true that in an emotional or stressful time,
and then I see the disinfectant
curse words can seem to
where it knocks
relieve
it
us
out
of stress
in
and
a minute.
emotional stress.
1 minute.
At that
And
time,
is there a
by
way we can do something like that?
verbally announcing.
by
It just feels like, okay, just like if you go punch a
injection
wall or you go do a
or
punching bag or you
almost
go
a
running.
cleaning, because you
It's
see it gets on the
almost
lungs
similar.
and it.
So I still took under note and said, I will do better. And since then, I've done better because it makes sense. All right, it makes sense. Max Verstappen has chosen not to do that. They clearly told you in the document for all audiences, which would mean kids. So there are certain curse words, maybe, Max, you could refrain from using, like the F-bomb, that we've seen and heard and watched and read that you dropped so many times in just within 10 seconds. And I showed you all that document. And he is very known for dropping the F-bomb. But I don't think Max Verstappen cares about kids nor public work, which we're going to look into. So back to this document, audience and broadcast. In particular, this is true of a statement made by principals in the World Championship and thus being role models both inside and outside of the sport. Role models. Role models. I think that we would all agree Max Verstappen is not a role model. Max Verstappen has never come off as a role model to me. I myself wouldn't like my kid to look up to Max Verstappen aside from anything that might happen on the track with him, and not even on the track sometimes. I don't even want you driving like Max Verstappen sometimes. It's okay to be aggressive, but Max Verstappen clearly, purposely, intentionally runs people off track. Max Verstappen has clearly, purposely, and intentionally assaulted somebody. Max Verstappen's dad has done the same and more. Max Verstappen clearly, intentionally disrespects, degrades, and offends ethnic and other groups of people intentionally. Max Verstappen's not a role model. He's not a role model. Back to the document. This is clear in the regulations and has been enforced through previous cases brought before the stewards in Formula One, and particularly in Las Vegas 2023. We can go back and look at that. The stewards reviewed the transcript from Thursday, and Max Verstappen, driver of Car 1, used language to describe this car at the event of Azerbaijan, which is generally considered coarse, rude. Big shout out the mechanic checking in, says bet
and then I
is
see
a
the
bet.
disinfectant.
Congrats on your win, brother.
In a minute.
Congrats.
One
Hey,
minute.
big shout out
And
to
is there a
you.
way we can do something
As a matter
like
of
that?
fact, you already know. Listen, let me tell y'all something.
Injection
We've had people
inside
come here and make bets with me, and they
almost
never
a cleaning,
paid.
because you see it gets on the lungs.
This
and
man reached out to me after live and said, bro, let's talk about how I'm going to get your money the same way I would have done him. Big shout out to the mechanic being stand up, having character and integrity, because other people wouldn't have paid on a bet that wouldn't have cost them nothing but to hold up a sheet of paper. This man made a $500 bet with me, comes up top of the morning, well, not top of the morning, it's kind of just after the morning, but it's early in the morning, ain't noontime, and start paying up. $500 bet. Big shout out to mechanic. Big bro, don't forget, send me your shirt size. I'm going to send you a care package out from your brother to my brother, all right? So definitely do that. So, which is generally considered rude, coarse, or may be cause offense, and is not considered suitable for broadcast. This misconduct, as defined Art 20 International Sporting Code, and is a breach of Article 12.2.1.k. Okay? 12.2.1.k. If we look at that, we're going to look at that.
Right, and then I see
we're going to take a look at that article right here, right now. We look at that article, and what we will see is this. All right? Breach of rules is 12.2 of the article ISC. We're going to go to 12.2.k, which is right here. Any misconduct. That's what they got. Any misconduct is what he's being cited under. Okay? Any misconduct. Okay, great. That's what we got for Max. Any misconduct. All right? So let's keep reading this document, because
and then
things start getting a little
disinfectant
bit more interesting and
in a
funny
minute.
to me.
One
Just
minute.
a little bit funny.
And is there a way we can do something like that?
So as we see right here.
Injection inside or almost a cleaning,
right here.
because you see it gets on the lungs and it.
When summoned to the stewards, the driver explained that the word This is the funny part, y'all. This is the funny part. When summoned to the stewards, the driver explained the word used is ordinary speech as he learned it. The word is used as ordinary speech as he learned it. English not being his native language, while the stewards accept that this may be true, it is important for role models to learn to be mindful when speaking in public forums.
It's interesting.
Oh my God.
Right, and then I see the
Did you all
disinfectant
just see
where it knocks it out
the
in a minute.
excuse and the
1 minute.
reason that
And
Max
is there a way we
Verstappen
can do something
said
like that?
he was cursing?
By injection inside.
This is ordinary
or
language.
Almost a cleaning, because you see
That's
it
what he
gets on
said. Ordinary language. Ordinary language, bro? Is that what we're doing? Ordinary language? Okay. All right. If that's how you seeing it. Ordinary language. Big shout out to Mechanic. Thanks, bro. Again, big shout out to you, Brody. That's already 3. That's the 400. My bro adding it up. So as we see ordinary language, does this not remind you of somebody? Just like Donald Trump shit, right? Just like Donald Trump stuff. And what's funny is a lot of people say that Max Verstappen fans tend to act, and I will say not all Max Verstappen fans, but a good number of Max Verstappen fans tend to act like Trumpers, Trump fans, where they defend almost anything he'll do. They'll agree with almost anything he'll say, and they'll excuse almost any infraction or penalty or something disrespectful that he'll perform. A lot of people say that. And maybe a lot of people are not wrong, because it does come off this way. Because I've seen a lot of people excuse what Max Verstappen does either in this instance, on track, or in the garage. But I just have to say that this is a lame duck excuse for Max Verstappen to go into the steward's room and say that the driver, Max Verstappen, explained that the word is used in ordinary speech as he learned it, English not being his native language. So wait a minute. We got Ben disrespecting rappers and people of ethnic groups by saying Formula One is not like rappers. We're not going to have y'all acting like rappers. And now we got Max Verstappen blaming the English language for the reason why he may have said what he said. All these times, you've been saying the F-bomb because the English language is not your native tongue. That's a lame duck excuse. I would have respected you more had you just came out and said, hey, I dropped the F-bomb. I should have been more mindful about my fan base, kids that look up to me. But I'm going to tell you something. Max Verstappen is not worried about being a role model. He's not worried about how kids look at him. Max Verstappen is full of bull caca. And I want to try to bring down the amount of curse words I may use, because kids may see this, and I want them to understand you definitely shouldn't be like Max Verstappen. And we have to look at the rest of this. We'll look at the rest of this document, shall we? So while the stewards accepted this, which I don't think they should have accepted it, they should have said it's not acceptable. But it's Max Verstappen, so they'll do it. When not under any particular pressure, Max Verstappen apologized for his behavior. Did he really? Did he really? Yo! That's what I'm talking about. Mechanic dropping it in. YouTube on some BS, brother. I already know. YouTube do a lot of BS. I already know. I feel you, brother, but I do appreciate you doing what you doing, bro. All day long, I appreciate you. Doing what you doing, coming up, trying to damn make things right, but YouTube ain't making it easy for you, brother. I know, but I do appreciate you, man. So Max Verstappen, again, childish. Childish. This is, And we're about to go into more of this. We're about to go into more of this.
Seems
This is
there's
how
been a
Max
big
Verstappen
difference in
acted
performance
during
there.
the press conference because he's throwing a
Can you
temper
elaborate
tantrum.
in terms of what
No.
you
He's
I
throwing
might,
a temper
get
tantrum,
fined
talking
or
about what he can't do
get an
because he
extra
might
day.
get fined. Okay, that's cool. Now, let's look at this penalty because we've often talked about Max Verstappen receiving penalties that legitimately don't come off as penalties. If we look up here, by the way, significant fines look at this. The stewards note that significant fines have been levied for language offensive to or direct at specific groups. This is not the case here. Should it not be a situation of somebody repeating the same habits, repeating the same infractions, repeating the same offenses, that we don't step up the penalty so that they understand it's not acceptable? But no, that's not what they do. Stewards determined to order a greater penalty than previously, and that Max Verstappen be obliged to accomplish some work of public interest. 12.4.1 point delta of the International Code, which we're going to look at that one. So let's check that out. Let's check that document out. So we go up here, because what was that? 12.4. So 12.4 point delta. So we're going to go down. 12.4 point delta. Right here. Obligation to accomplish some work of public interest is what they got down right here. Public interest. Now, they don't specifically outline what this may be or what he may need to do. But what I'm going to say is your fine was obligation to accomplish some work of public interest. Max acts as if they penalized him $1,000. No, forget that. $1,000 ain't nothing, Max Verstappen. Max acting like they penalized him $20,000 or $50,000 with $25,000 in the balance in case he ever does it again. All Max got penalized to do was work of public interest. What kind of work may that be? Working with kids, going to do some voluntary work, going to do some charity work. But you know what? I thought about it. Is that Max Verstappen? I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at this. I did a couple of searches, as you see right here. Max Verstappen with kids. What we find here is not a lot of kids. We find Max Verstappen himself. We see Max Verstappen and his daddy. We see some kids that might be related to Max Verstappen. Probably Max Verstappen himself. We don't see a lot of kids, but you know what I don't see? I don't see Max Verstappen with any other ethnic group kids. Where is any of this work? Okay, so you know what? Okay, not with kids. Let's look up Max Verstappen charity work. Let's look up that. Max Verstappen charity work. Okay, again, we got Max Verstappen signing the autograph. Max Verstappen with his arms up. I'm just saying, we'll keep going. We got Max Verstappen with a young lady right here. Hey, big shout out, mechanic. Big shout out to you, bro. Big shout out to you, big bro. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, bro. My bro's still getting it in. He's still trying. We got Max Verstappen. I don't see Max Verstappen at any charity events right here. Okay. All right. So maybe not that. Let's go ahead and put in Max Verstappen. Let's go ahead and put a Max Verstappen. I don't know. What can we say? Donations. Max Verstappen donation. So we got right here. My thoughts go out to you and your loved ones. Stay strong, Billy. 15,000 euros. We got Max Verstappen. Supposedly what? Nothing. No pictures. No nothing. So do you get what my point is right here? My point is that maybe Max Verstappen's mad about public interest work because Max Verstappen don't do a damn thing for public interest. I didn't see any Max Verstappen stuff with kids, volunteer work, charity work. I saw nothing like role model work. Nothing like role model work. I didn't see anything like role model work whatsoever. So maybe finding Max Verstappen would have been more harsh to him because he don't want to see his money taken, but he damn sure ain't doing no community work. He's not. And this is a champion. This goes to show you Max Verstappen is not a role model. Max Verstappen is not a role model. He's not. He doesn't do it much. He's not at all involved in it. He does not. This is not what we see from Max Verstappen. You want to know what? Look at Lewis Hamilton. Wait a minute. We got Lewis Hamilton right here on stage. We got Lewis Hamilton over here with a kid that is disabled. We got Lewis Hamilton here with kids visiting in the streets of different countries. We got Lewis Hamilton right here with a kid in the hospital at the Royal Children's Hospital. We got Lewis Hamilton right here with a group of kids from Joins to Save the Children Foundation. We got Lewis Hamilton with multiple different ethnic groups and different charities of work. We didn't see none of this when we put Max Verstappen's name in. You want to know why? Because he don't do it. Max Verstappen doesn't do it. But this is somebody people like to champion. This is somebody people like to excuse for his things that he does, all the insults he makes. Do we not need to remember that Max Verstappen assaulted Ocon in the garage in Brazil? Do we not recall that? Do we not? Matter of fact, let's look at 12.21. Misconduct again is when he got that. Okay? When he went and shoved multiple times Ocon in the garage. You don't need to put your hands on anybody, but Max Verstappen did it. That was in 2020. Then here we goes. We had a situation where Max Verstappen, no, that was 2018. Then 2 more seasons later, we got Max Verstappen on the radio insulting, not only using a derogatory word toward a certain group of people, but also dropping multiple F-bombs and then disrespecting Lance Stroll, which I'm not on him as a driver, but this is something personal, by calling him an effing retard. I don't recall him even getting fined for that. I don't even recall him getting fined for that. If you can find a document, fine. But I do also find it odd that there are certain years of documents missing completely from the FIA site. Couldn't even go in to try to find that document if they had found them. I didn't see it, so it wasn't there. So it is not acceptable to me that the FIA, after seeing a driver within Formula One, not rap, not country music, not R&B music, not heavy metal, not the inner city, but a Formula One motorsports driver multiple times has broken these rules, and the best thing y'all come up with is some more public interest work, which he don't really do. At this point in time, Max Verstappen surely should have been financially fined. And guess what? Just like they said down here with the BS, like it's some type of warning, the stewards note that significant fines have been levied for language of offensive to or directed at a specific groups. Listen, it don't matter. This brother has broken the rules several times, and you know what? He's going to keep breaking the rules because they always letting him off easy. They always letting Max Verstappen off easy. Do y'all not recall hearing this picture on worldwide broadcast? He called Russell a dickhead. He called Russell a dickhead on worldwide broadcast. I don't recall him getting fined for that. Don't know if he did. I didn't see the document, but I don't recall him getting fined for that. I mean, what was that? That might have been just last year. So that might have been Baku 2023, correct? I think that was at Azerbaijan 2023. Oddly enough, Azerbaijan is thrown back up in this again, but I think that was 2023 at Baku. And he was still car number 1. And if I go down here, I don't see that Max Verstappen was issued a penalty or noted or summoned for that language on TV as he called somebody a dickhead. Why are we still here giving Max Verstappen these small pat in the palm penalties when he keeps showing you that his mentality, his personality, and his character are trash. And he keeps doing these things over and over again, just like he does things on track, because the FIA do not penalize Max in such a way that he will get the damn point. Now I'm going to talk about Lando. Lando said that he thought it was unfair. He doesn't agree with any of it. Lando said, I think it's unfair. I don't agree with any of it. Lewis Hamilton was a bit conflicting to me. I really was trying to get a beat on what he was saying, because at one moment I said, Lewis, brother, you should not say anything in the defense of Max Verstappen in this situation. Other situations, you shouldn't have done it either. You shouldn't have said last time you thought it was a racing incident, because they turned you into an FIA steward and took up on your advice and said it's a racing incident in that moment where they can let Max Verstappen off. Why they have not taken under your advice in other situations that you yourself were involved in where they were going to penalize you, I don't know. But the one time they want to take Lewis Hamilton's word as a steward of the FIA is to let Max off. But I feel like in these moments, Lewis Hamilton, you should just say, I ain't got no comment. That's for the FIA to handle. They handle it how they see fit with Max Verstappen all the time. At the most, that's it. But I was a little bit kind of foggy about where Lewis might have been going. I kind of didn't know if he was being slick with it, because he said that basically the rest tonight, you two not. I got you, brother. I got you. We can do it tonight on F1 Minute. Thank you, brother, man. I appreciate you much, bro. So right here, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton says that mistakes are made. He says it's a bit of a joke. He felt like mistakes are made. This is the pinnacle of the sport. He said, I won't be doing it. And I think he said, hopefully Max won't do it. And I was kind of conflicted, as if, did Lewis just throw a little punch on stage by kind of pretty much alluding that I don't agree what he did. I don't do it. Hopefully he won't do it again. Sometimes I wish Lewis would be a little bit more direct, but at the same time, the other way, this is what makes Lewis so great at what he does in the face of adversity and in situations where other drivers wouldn't be able to hold their composure. He does it idly, sneakily good. So I'm wondering, I'm still in the middle, but I still feel like no comment, that's Max, would have been the best thing to say. No comment, like Ben, we not rappers. No comment, I'm not Max, that's Max. I think he would have said that, it would have been on point. But, Lando always going to let him off. Lando been a doorman, but Lando, oddly enough, this weekend, not a doorman, did great off the start, but almost choked in the race and threw it away. But we'll talk about that tonight on F1 Minute, so please come by for F1 Minute tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 19:30 for my Ura people. And we're going to be here talking about all this, and we'll even talk about this. We're going to talk about this again, because I'm going to show you all, I showed you all something, I'm going to keep saying it, because I believe it is true, that you see the most of somebody when they're not on top. You learn a lot about people when you yourself are down. You learn a lot about people when everything's not going their way. You learn a lot about people that you've done things for plenty of times and you finally tell them no one time. Situations, environments, and challenges can show you a lot about an individual. And Max Verstappen is showing us that he's still the same old Max. Nothing's changed in Max. Only thing that's changed is Max ain't winning like he used to. And Max is now probably looking at his future like, even with him trying to play around with Colapinto out there, I think that was still free practice. And just like Max, you're going to see a lot about Max. If he don't get back to where he want to be or where he feel like he should be with this whole coddled thing and everything feeling like it's all in his way, especially in the car right now, these cars done caught up. McLaren done caught up. Ferrari working on it. They just keep dropping the ball. Mercedes, they just still kind of struggling, but sometimes they there. Max Verstappen got gapped by 20 plus seconds. And it's been happening. You will see that this whole mirage and this mask of winning and being in the most dominant car is all that really changed about Max. It was all superficial. None of it was internal change. None of it was real change for the better. It was all conditional changed based off of where he was and what he didn't have to deal with. And what Max didn't have to deal with was close competition, fighting for position, and he didn't have to deal with losing. But this season is different. And right now, you're seeing the true Max stand up. So tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, we will be here live on F1 Minute. So please come by. You get to call in. You get to talk to me. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to open your camera up. You can just have your mic ready. Come in, say what you got to say, give your opinion, and we will be there live tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. The link is already up. Set your notifications. The call link will come up in the description and the live chat when we get ready to start the show, moments before we get ready to start the show. And with that being said, Wolfpack out. Peace.